Stop buying foundation based off shade alone. If your foundation is too orange, too yellow, too pink, too purple, the problem isn't the shade, it's the undertone. Shade tells you how light or how deep the skin is, while the undertone is the subtle shade beneath the skin. This is going to determine your best match. You can have the right shade, but still end up looking too orange or too ashy, depending on the shade of the undertone. For reference, I chose the shade 18N, N being for neutral. As you can see, it blends really well into my skin without it being too yellow, too red, or too gray. Now let's get into this application. So I'm gonna go in with a few dots. A little goes a long way with this foundation. And I'm just gonna take my damp beauty blender and I'm just gonna blend in this foundation. Right away, I can see that this foundation has a lightweight feel, but it's still giving me a really nice coverage. Okay, I'm applying this with my damp beauty blender, and see how it moves and blends on the skin? Oh wow, this is really beautiful. All right. Wow, look at that. The coverage is really nice. It's buildable. So that means it is a medium coverage foundation. This is like medium to full though, because it's really getting rid of all those little acne marks I have. But it's also very lightweight. I'm loving it. Look at that coverage. Very nice, very nice. All right. Here's the foundation blended all the way in. I'm gonna go back in and add a little bit more in the areas where I have a little bit of acne peeking through. Just to give it more coverage. And wow, look at that. This foundation is literally like butter. This foundation is literally like butter on the freaking skin, okay? Nice, beautiful finish, beautiful coverage. It's really that girl. And when swatching and finding the shade at the store, the easiest way to do this is to take the foundation shade of your choice, swatch it along your jawline, right in between your cheek and your neck. You want your foundation shade to blend more so to the neck, so it's an even gradient, smooth transition from face to neck to chest. All right. One thing I am paying attention to is how the shade and undertone look once I actually blend it all out, because a foundation can look completely different in a bottle than it does on your face. So far, this foundation is giving a matte finish. It's not too flat and it's not too dry, but more of a natural blurred skin effect. The coverage is buildable and it's evened out my complexion without looking super heavy or super cakey on the skin. I'm gonna finish my face makeup, but this is the base to the face, and we are loving it because it looks a little dry. Period. So then I'm gonna go in with this NARS bronzing stick. NARS recently launched this product, and I'm just gonna add a little here on the hollow of the face and a little here on this hollow, and then I'm gonna add some along the forehead to give me that warmth back into the perimeter of the face. And then I'm just gonna add a little down the sides of the nose. This is gonna give my nose a nice slim appearance. So What I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna go in with the brush. It's angled, and I'm just gonna lightly tap it on the angle to fill in those hollows and bring shadows back to the face, as well as a little warmth. Notice how it's blending in seamlessly with that foundation. It is looking superb, honey, superb. And I'm gonna just keep it in the area I applied it. I'm gonna go into the forehead. I'm tapping and bringing it slightly down, but I'm not dragging it too far down to my eyebrows. I wanna keep it in the forehead hairline area. And this is just gonna give me that warmth and depth back to the face. Because using a foundation, it is one tone, so it does create like a one-dimensional look. So we're just adding some 3D back into the face. Gorgeous. And I'm gonna bring it slightly down so it can blend well with that foundation. Look at that, wow, beautiful. And same thing for the other side. I'm just gonna blend that, tapping it up, tapping and up, tapping and up motions. Notice how I'm not swiping the makeup across my face. That's because I want it to stay in this one spot, like so. Then I'm gonna go in with a smaller brush just to have a little bit more control over the nose contour. And I'm just gonna take that brush and take that contour and just blend it down the sides of the nose and up into the brow, right below the brow. Because our brow naturally has a shadow, we just want to emphasize that shadow and create a different shape to the nose. Nice, nice, nice. All right. Following the natural structure of my face. I'm just gonna add this and try to get rid of any of those harsh lines. I'm gonna go back in with that brush I used to blend out that contour, and I'm just gonna slightly tap upward to blend that contour on the nose. Make it seamless as possible. It's hard to get in that inner corner of the eye, it's so tight. All right. And that looks beautiful. So now I'm gonna go in with some concealer. I'm using the Tarte Shape Tape. Love Shape Tape. I was sleeping on Shape Tape because Shape Tape has more of your neutral shades. I'm using Tan Deep Sand because I am a little tan and I am a little deep. Those are going to be the tones of my skin. And then Sand. Sand is usually like a yellow neutral, so it's kind of like a warm neutral shade. I love it. It gives me brightness without making me too bright or too yellow. And that's what we want. So when I'm applying that concealer shade, I'm gonna turn this light down. So when I'm applying that concealer shade, I'm making sure I'm focusing right below the eye. I'm gonna add a little here because I do have a natural crease there. So it's gonna create a shadow naturally, but we wanna add light into those creases. So that's why I am applying it here. I'm bringing it to the sides of my nose just a little bit, just to help with that nose contour, to help slim out the nose. Then I'm gonna go up here, and I'm gonna add a drop here because this is where I want the light to shine on my face. Going back in, and I'm gonna go in with that brush I used for the contour. I'm gonna bring a little bit more light back into the nose. I don't want to add too much because I don't want my nose to look too contoured. And I'm gonna bring some light here, and I'm gonna bring some light here. Kind of blend those two together. Come down and blend those harsh edges. I love a nose contour, y'all, because it really accentuates my nose. My nose is kind of on the bigger side. It's not too big, but it's a little fat, like this ass. Like this ass. So I'm just gonna blend it like this. Then I'm gonna go in with a nice fluffy brush and just blend the edges out. Notice I'm keeping it in that area. I'm not dragging, I'm not sweeping, I'm tapping and moving the foundation, I'm tapping and moving the concealer. This gives me more control over where I'm placing my concealer, because placement is everything with makeup application. I'm gonna do the same thing for this side. I'm not gonna touch the area near the nose because I want to use a powder puff to blend out the nose area. That helps me keep my lines sharp and more controlled. All right, blend that, and then we're gonna tap this in. Then we're gonna add that brightness back to the forehead that we lost a little bit with the contour and our foundation. All right, boom. So now I'm gonna go back in with that brush I used to contour, and I'm just gonna blend the contour and the concealer on the forehead so it isn't too bright, but it still gives me a nice elevated look. Same thing for where we place that contour on the cheeks. Just gonna go back in and make sure everything looks nice and blended together. All right, now that that is done, I'm gonna go in with my powder puff. This is the wrong one, that's the one I used for powder. Dang, what'd I do with it? Oh. Next, I'm gonna go in with my powder puff, and I'm just gonna take it at an angle where I have this, and I'm just gonna tap that right into the skin. Keeping it in that area. I'm not moving it around. I'm just tapping it to create a nice seamless blend. Like that. Gorgeous. I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side, keeping it nice and controlled. I do like to get a little bit past the inner corner of the eye, just so it's a nice transition from nose contour to eye area. Okay, nice, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work, beautiful work. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in with that brush I used to blend that concealer at the bottom, and I'm just gonna kind of blend that contour line and that concealer line together on the nose so we don't look like Michael Jackson. Beautiful, gorgeous, gorgeous. Ah! This looks so good. All right, next I'm going to add some powder. Again, the makeup is about colors and tones, right? So I'm going to use a peach tone powder. Peach is considered a neutral shade, but I like to be a little bright under the eyes, so the pink really helps with brightening, and it helps with tone. I don't want to look too yellow because I feel like when my makeup is too yellow, I feel like a Oompa Loompa. I feel like I look orange, but it's probably because my undertone is fighting with that yellow. Look at that, that is gorgeous. Okay, I'm just gonna blend that outward, keeping it right where I added that concealer. And And then I'm gonna bring it down slightly into that contour shade. This is gonna give me a nice finish. I'm gonna take a little powder, put it on the edge of my beauty puff, and I'm just gonna add that right on top of that nose contour, right where we added that brighter shade. This is gonna help lock that concealer in place, and it's also gonna help brighten where we added our concealer. Beautiful. And then we're gonna add some to the chin where we added that concealer, and around the mouth. This is gonna help with creasing. If you smile a lot or you talk a lot, you are definitely gonna crease around the mouth area. I haven't mastered how to get rid of that because I like to talk and I like to laugh. And I'm gonna just add a little bit here. And make sure when you're doing it here, you're bringing it to the back of the jaw as well. This helps with not creating that really crazy indentation there. And we're gonna add it here, and just like this, to the other side. Beautiful. And I'm just gonna blend it in with the other stuff. And I'm gonna put a little powder around where I had my. Next, I'm just gonna blend all that together. Tapping motions is what's really gonna make your makeup. This tapping motions is really what's gonna make your makeup stand out from everybody else's makeup, because you're not swiping, you're not wiping, you're just tapping everything in. You're creating a nice layer on the skin, and the powder is gonna really help everything stay in place. I get real oily, so I do like a more matte look because I don't like when my makeup is really oily. So next, I'm just gonna add my contour. I'm using a powder contour from Morphe. I'm just gonna go in with a warmer shade, something a little bit more on the redder tone, and I'm just gonna slightly add it to where I added my contour, trying to keep it solely in that area. You see how that just sculpted my face? I'm gonna go in with a lighter shade called Debut, and I'm just gonna add that right in the area between the concealer and the bronzer. And then I'm just gonna do the same thing for the other side. Notice I'm tapping and swiping up to keep my jaw defined, my cheekbone defined actually. And then I'm just gonna add that here. And then I'm gonna add some to the forehead as well, keeping that darker shade, that warmer shade, close as I can to my hairline to help keep that warmth in the skin. Because sometimes you can lose warmth in the skin with your foundation, because foundation is made to be a base. All right, that's why all these steps matter when you want a nice flawless application. So I'm gonna go back in with that same Debut shade, which is a little on the browner side. It's like a neutral olive tone brown, which I like because I have those shades in my skin. And I'm just gonna add that here and add some to the nose as well at the bottom to give me a cute little button nose. I'm gonna go back in with that brush and just kind of slightly tap just to make sure there are no crazy lines. Gorgeous. All right, I'm gonna add some lip liner. So gorgeous. I'm gonna go in with some lip gloss. I'm using this NYX in the shade Vanilla Cream Pie. It's a really beautiful pink tone. Paired with that warm brown liner. Oh, that's gorgeous. That is gorgeous. So then I'm just gonna go in with a setting spray. You can use a setting spray of your choice. I'm using Super Fix from Makeup Revolution. And I'm just gonna spray my face. Beautifully. I'm gonna let it dry down. I'm gonna add some more powder to the under eye area because I like a nice matte look. In this area here where I have this little extra fat on my cheeks, I tend to get a little bit more oily in that area when I do sweat. So now that it's dried down some, I'm gonna take a powder puff again and just kind of lightly tap some powder in that area, in this area. This really helps me when I'm taking pictures because it gets rid of that shine there and it gives me a nice, flawless, even base. It looks like I had 10 hours of sleep. Okay. Gorgeous work, gorgeous work. And then we're just gonna add a little mascara and then the look will be complete. Now that the foundation is fully applied, I think the shade is really working because it blends in from my neck to my chest. Let me know what you think of the finished look. And let me know down in the comments if you've tried the new Mario Matte Foundation or if you would try the new Makeup by Mario Matte Foundation.